What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, bringing you the very second video on this new channel, Asian Guy Genshin. This is going to be a top 5 underrated tips that a lot of people don't actually know, regardless of what adventure rank they are. A lot of these things I personally didn't know until very recently, and I'm already adventure rank 34 despite starting late in the game, and I kind of wish I knew this stuff earlier. So, number one, and I think this is so underrated, and this might be common sense to a lot of people, but it's simply the ability to read. Now, if you look at these domains, at the very beginning, it doesn't really tell you much other than recommended elements. So reading check is absolutely okay. However, once you go into domains, this is where you actually should be reading, because if you leave a domain, there's no penalty. So you can leave instantly if your comp is not actually suited for this. Right here, you should be reading this every single time you're entering a new domain, because what it's going to be showing you are potential buffs and potential debuffs to your characters. Number one, when melt is triggered, an energy blast will occur, dealing damage to surrounding enemies. So if you activate melt with fire and ice or fire and water, it's very good, because there's going to be an energy blast that will damage everyone around them, not including yourself. However, if you're using lightning on water or ice, when superconduct is triggered, you will be hit by a powerful blast, causing your character to take damage. Now, I myself am very guilty of just clicking this really fast to try and get out of this and completely ignoring that information, which is vital to why I kept dying while I was trying to farm items for Razor with Razor, because Razor is going to be able to do superconduct here. Take a look here, I have 1417 HP right now. Let's do this. I just took a blast of lightning there, which dealt 2000 damage, which is obviously not very good. So I'm going to do that again so you guys can see that. Right here, boom, I took another 2000 damage, which is not good. Now with Diluc, who can do the melt debuff, we do this. You can see that there was a big energy blast there that actually damaged everybody else. And we're going to try and do that again. We'll just wait for 5 more, 3, 2, 1 seconds here. This should do an energy blast, which, I mean, there's no one near this, but you'll be able to see the energy blast visually as you saw the melt there. The energy blast does come through. Now, again, guys, there is no punishment to leaving a domain, so don't worry about that. If you do have the wrong composition, just leave and restart again. I've seen so many times in co-op, people go into these domains, they do the debuff trigger, and they end up dying. I myself have been guilty of it, so please make sure you're reading what the buffs and debuffs are. Let's move over to tip number 2. Alrighty guys, tip number 2, for those of you who have hit adventure rank 20, you will have access to the battle pass. Now if you're not adventure rank 20, don't worry too much, there's no massive rush to get here, but you do unlock a battle pass which will give you loads of bonus rewards. Now for some of these missions here, weekly missions aren't the same for all players, you might have different ones from me, but I have a weekly mission which I have 12 hours left to do, which is complete leyline deposit challenges 20 times. Now for me, I was unfortunately a little bit silly, and every single time I opened these leyline deposits using 20 resin, and as you guys know, the resin cost in this game is not that great. It is very limited, and I've been wasting it this whole time. If yours says domains instead of leyline deposits, it's the same thing. You don't actually need to collect the rewards from the leyline or the domain for this to count in your achievements, for this to count in your missions. And unfortunately, I only found this out at adventure rank 33, so I had been wasting a lot of resin getting Mora. Now, it's not the end of the world, because Mora is very hard to come by. For those of you who want to hunt down these things and start using your resin, you will open your adventure book on PC. The key is F1, and then once you do that, go to bosses. You can actually see how much resin you have in the top right corner of your screen. I currently have 43 out of 120. You can also, at the top left, which I didn't find out until yesterday, check different regions of your bosses. This is stuff that I need to pick up on faster, but I was a little bit slow, and you can hunt down 4 different ley lines every single day. You can also go into someone else's world and do ley lines with them, and again, you don't need to collect it. Same thing with domains, you don't need to collect the rewards, and they will count towards your achievements as well as your tasks or your missions that you have for the battle pass. So very unfortunate. I'll just skip ahead and show you me defeating this ley line and proving that you don't actually need to collect this. So sad stuff for me. Again, I'm on 16 right now. Let's see you guys in a bit. Alrighty guys, so we have just beaten this and I should be on 17 out of 20. You don't need to collect it. Let's take a look here. I was on 16. I am now on 17 out of 20. As you guys can see there, you don't actually need to collect the Leyline Blossom for it to count. So you can go to other people's worlds as well and hunt down these Leyline outcrops as well. So yes, please don't waste your resin doing this unless you're a very low level and you can't beat any of these other elemental bosses or they're not available. I highly recommend you guys going and looking for these Leyline outcrops and using your resin. If you're before adventure rank 20, definitely go ahead and start building up your Mora, because Mora is very, very hard to come by. Let's move over to tip number 3. Okay guys, the next tip that I'm going to share with you guys is how to protect your resources and how to not get it stolen from you, and how you can actually share resources, because different resources in this world, mining resources, plant-based resources, food-based resources, some of them you can share and some of them you can't share, and therefore you can steal and have it stolen from you. As someone randomly tries to join my world, AGM, perfect timing actually, this is not someone on my friends list, but people will request to join your world so they can steal your resources. Now for example here, I have my real life friend Kylar here. If I break this, he will be able to take my core lapis, and if he takes my core lapis, I personally will not be able to take it. So he's just stolen that from me, and I can no longer get that core lapis back until it respawns within 48 to 72 hours of my own world. Now what this means is there are certain things you can do, like go to other people's worlds, or other people will try to come to your worlds and they will hunt down spawn locations, because there's a lot of specific spawn locations. This place right here, there's a lot of core lapis on this mountain here. People will come and try and steal this stuff from you. And if you don't know what core lapis is, it's ascension materials for people like Kaching or Chongyun. There's other stuff like Cecilia for Venti, all this stuff that will spawn in different locations across the world. You'll be able to find them, and I'll show you guys how to find that within the next tip itself, but people will be able to take that stuff from you. I will also insert a clip here right now showcasing that you can share certain stuff, and this certain stuff includes stuff like jade, normal crystals, you have iron and white iron. So those 4 resources you can actually share with your friends. So I do recommend finding people to co-op with and sharing that material with them, and they can share it back with you, and essentially with up to 3 other players you can share those resources, which is very, very nice. However, stuff once again guys, like core lapis, any sort of plants, any food, all that kind of stuff cannot be shared. Butterflies, animals, etc. They cannot be shared as well, and they will have a respawn timer. Every respawn timer is different as well, so keep that in mind as well. But all of them, everything should be able to respawn within 72 hours of the real life. Not within in-game, guys. That was I misspoke on that. But within real life, within 48 to 72 hours, everything should respawn. So I will now insert a clip of showing you guys some certain spawn locations where you can share with your friends as well. Tip number 4, look out for Dandy, an NPC called Dandy who you'll find in multiple locations across the Genshin Impact world. Now Dandy will offer you time trial challenges up to 3 times for 3 different chests. You can redo these as many times as you want, and you can fail them as many times as you want. And if you do fail them, guys, don't worry, she will teleport you back right in front of her, so you can just keep retrying and retrying and retrying until you get all those 3 chests, all the way up to precious chests, which is very, very nice. So let me show you an example of this. Dandy, hello traveler, start time trial challenge. I've already completed this one, which you can see is shown there by remind me of what my personal best is. If that comes up, that means you've already completed this Dandy challenge. But here we go. This is what a time trial challenge is going to look like. Don't expect anything from me, guys. I'm not very good at these. So we do this, do this, do this, and I think I just missed that last one there. And as you guys can see there, you have got the little golden diamond / square, and I'm going to try an animation cancel, or rather I'm going to try and cancel the... Ooh, am I going to make this? Yes, I am. I think I am. And there we go. Made it with 2 seconds left. You can actually cancel full damage, guys, if you do an attack. For those of you who didn't know, if you're flying in the air, you're running out of stamina, just do the attack button with your left click, and you will cancel full damage, which is very, very nice. If it's from a very high place, you will still take full damage, but it won't be anywhere near as bad as dying. So yeah, there we go. We completed the challenge there. Normally a chest would appear if this was my first time, but it's not my first time, and you can find Dandy across many locations in the world, and I'm sure there are many resources out there which will actually show you examples of this. And I think there's actually one in Wangshu in as well, so let me show you that one cheekily quite now, quickly. Let's see. Come on, can we get the teleport done? Yes, we can. If we drop down this way, there should be a Dandy right here. There we go. You can see her there as well. And she's spawning in multiple locations across the world, and she will offer you the same thing every single time. Dandy the Adventurer. And you can do another time trial challenge there. And the other thing that I think a lot of people don't know is that you can cancel your time trial challenge. I only found this out yesterday, but I was waiting every single time I have a time trial challenge. I just sat there and waited when I accepted I was going to fail. And the way to do this is it will show you on the left hand side of the screen, going back to tip number 1. Just make sure you're reading. If you press the P key on keyboard, you can abandon your challenge. And that's also another, like a tip 4.5. Let's move on into the last tip, which is only going to be relevant for ice users and ice players in the form of Chongyun. Okay guys, last tip of the video. It's mainly for Chongyun users or anyone that was lucky enough to pull Chongyun. Traversing water using ice and wind. Now if you have the main adventurer on the wind form and not on the earth form, you can actually make this process a lot faster. As you guys can see on my screen, there's also a silhouette of a secret island, which I recommend going to when your characters are around level 35 to 40. You'll be able to defeat the bosses on there. Very, very easy stuff. However, if you want to traverse water, obviously you can freeze it with Kaya or Kaya. However, if you have Chongyun, you can do this, but what I didn't know until yesterday was you can keep swinging to extend this ice even further, which is pretty damn amazing. This will mean you can get across water very, 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 very quickly. So we're going to press E again, and then getting across to these kind of islands which are off the coast, much, much easier. If you have the normal adventurer, your own main character, then this is even easier because he too can extend ice if you hold down the E key or his elemental skill. So there you go. If you have Chongyun, this is something I didn't know. I kept just doing E and standing still and then switching. But if you continue swinging, even if you switch like this, it should have worked there, but let me wait for his cooldown to come up again. Because what Chongyun does with his E is he gives elemental ice. He gives the ice elemental to all weapon users. So if we swing there, the ice will continue as well. But obviously Chongyun is the best. His weapon range is quite big as well. So it's very, very nice. Actually, I think Kaya got a little bit more off there. But there you go. We're already like, you know, a good third of the way there to the island. Naturally, if you do flop and you don't get to this island or any other islands off the coast, you can just teleport back to a safe spot. There are loads of islands here that you want to check out as well, which have a lot of nice cheeky rewards on them. So I do recommend going out of your way to go to these islands. But naturally, the hardest one to get to is this one in the top right corner. You can glide off if you have max stamina. If you're not max stamina, then the easiest way is to go there using the ice strategy. So yeah, those are the 5 tips that I think are quite underrated in Genshin Impact. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know if you have any other tips in the comment section down below. Let me know if this helped you in any way, shape or form. Hopefully it did. And yes, thank you guys so much for watching, guys. And remember to hashtag DunkaMiHoYo and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.